Welcome back to the channel, and good morning, or at least it is for me. It's 8:45 in the morning here in the UK. I've had a chance to sleep on all the Jurassic World 3 information we've gotten. This is sort of the morning after the night before, to use a cliche. And we've had a lot more new information on Steam and on Frontier's website. So what I thought I would do today is go through the new information we've gotten and just have a chat about it, what my thoughts are about the info that we've got, then sort of give my general sort of thoughts. So let's get started with the Steam page. And we'll start with sort of the basic information that the Steam page provides first, then I'll talk about the Deluxe edition and pre-order elements. Basic information we start with, we get told that we're going to be helping life find a way by synthesizing, breeding and nurturing prehistoric species. We're going to be managing their species to allow them to thrive, raise families, and pass their genes on to future generations. It sounds like creating dinosaurs is going to be relatively similar to Jurassic World Evolution 2, where we, synthesize a bunch of eggs and then pick specific individuals from that. But then there's also going to be an element of passing their genetics onto their babies, which sounds interesting. It means you could probably... It sounds like an interesting system. I would like to see it in work and sort of see how this sort of gene passing on thing actually works, but it sounds like a good idea. So next on the Steam page, we're told that there's going to be over 80 awe-inspiring prehistoric species, 75 of which will allow you to manage, breed and nurture families across entire generations, raising them from playful juveniles into awe-inspiring adults, with distinct female, male and juvenile variants. Now, this bit I was a bit curious about. 80 awe-inspiring species, 75 of them have babies, so the others don't. So, does that infer that the hybrids and the mutants possibly cannot breed? If they're saying 80 prehistoric species, 75 have babies, so that leaves 5-ish out. Indominus Rex, Indominus Raptor, Scorpius Rex, Mutodon D-Rex, that would be the 5 to match the numbers we're being provided there. It could also possibly refer to the smallest animals, because I doubt things like compies are going to necessarily have juvenile baby models. We'll have to wait and see when we get a species list and such, which animals actually do and don't have babies. Park guests will marvel as these majestic creatures socialize and react to the vibrant world around them, manage unique social needs and observe brand new behaviors, with semi-aquatic dinosaurs venturing into deep water and pterosaurs walking on land. This is good information. So we're told that they're going to have some brand new animations in the form of new behaviors. Semi-aquatic dinosaurs. Now, some people have been saying that this infers, Deinosuchus. I don't think it does. I think when they say semi-aquatic dinosaurs, I think they're being quite specific to refer to Spinosaurus, Baryonyx, Suchomimus, Dinocaris, if it's still in the game, and pterosaurs walking on land, which is nice. It confirms that pterosaurs are actually going to have walking animations now. It all sounds positive about the dinosaurs. I just really hope that the quality of the animations and sort of the variety of animations they're provided has been improved, because that's one of my major criticisms about Jurassic World Evolution 2, is that they gave them all a single social animation and you see it played many, many times. So if we can have multiple behavioral animations, that would be nice. Now, the next thing on the Steam page is interesting, and I want to start with this little animation that they've provided the Steam page of this. Well, it looks like a hotel building being constructed in this animation GIF, because this is what I think they mean by modular scenery customization. People have been sort of seeing what they've written as, oh, this game is fully modular like Prehistoric Kingdom, and I don't necessarily think that it is, because based on this animation, what it looks like we're going to do is it's going to be a sort of basic square block for the building when you put it down, and then you can select different modules you put with it. Because if you have a look at the animation, there's like the block on the right, the block on the left, the decoration that you put in on the top, the sort of the wooden thing. And I think this is what they mean by it being modular. I think what they mean is that every building you're going to be able to pick and choose specific large parts of to modularly construct the building, like we do already with the amenity system. I don't think what they're saying is that it's fully 100% modular, like Planet Coaster or Prehistoric Kingdom, because I mean that would be a terrible mistake, because they would lose a large part of their audience. And this animation seems to make it clear that it's more of a you pick bits and these large bits construct the building, like the amenity modification system. So at least that's what it seems like to me. The writing underneath says create jaw-dropping parks with new creative tools never seen before, with groundbreaking terrain editing to modular scenery customization. So we saw the terrain editing systems in the trailer, which I was very positive about and probably still am. Then we're told that we'll be able to build our sites with naturalistic enclosures, using steep slopes with scenery, introducing stunning new attractions such as the balloon tour, and a close-up attraction that lets guests see and touch prehistoric animals with the dinosaur encounter, and more. So the news about new attractions is definitely something I'm positive about. Bringing back a balloon tour from Jurassic Park Operation Genesis, that's nice to hear. And a sort of more guests interacting with dinosaurs in a dinosaur encounter attraction also sounds really positive, because then the guests actually will have to have an animation that allows them to interact with the dinosaur. At least that is my hope. One thing I would say about the screenshots on the Steam page and what we saw in the trailer is that we haven't seen the guests doing anything. They haven't been interacting with the benches. They don't seem to be interacting with anything around them. So, and making the guests more immersive and more than just a particle effect was a big hope of mine for this game. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out in future, in future Frontier stuff, to see if we do actually have some evidence that they're going to be more than just a particle effect. This is the bit that I think people are most excited about. Create, upload, and share cross-platform community creations using the Frontier Workshop. Browse the very best creations from the community, place them in your own game, or craft your own custom parks, buildings, and enclosures before sharing for other players to use. So basically the Frontier Workshop is not the Steam Workshop. The Frontier Workshop is the thing that they invented for Planet Coaster 2 to stop people using the Steam Workshop. Basically, it's their own thing. I don't know why they're doing that way, possibly to have a greater control over the curation of the workshop. But it does mean that we'll be able to share our own creations on there, which, again, seems to suggest that the game is a lot more modular than the animation suggests. So I don't know, honestly. I just don't think that they would make it 100% like Planet Coaster or Planet Zoo, because then they would lose their audience. Like, a lot of people go to the Jurassic World Evolution games because it's easier to play it than Prehistoric Kingdom. So if they've made it 100% modular, then I don't know. I think we need to see actual gameplay and see this modular system working that they talk about here, and actually see what specifically it is that they've done. Moving on, we're then told about the epic new campaign. We're going to be joining familiar faces from the Jurassic franchise, including Dr. Malcolm, voiced by Jeff Goldblum, and embark on a non-linear campaign across a sprawling world map filled with iconic locations such as the Montana Badlands and new locations such as Japan, each offering new challenges. This non-linear campaign, as I spoke about yesterday on the stream, is basically, it sounds like it's going to be the same sort of campaign we had in Jurassic World Evolution 1. Because Jurassic World Evolution 2's campaign is very much a linear one. And again, we have this nice animation shown on Steam where it sort of shows locations clearly 2 in the Americas, 1 in Japan, and it looks like there may also be an extra one in Russia, judging on this animation on Steam. But it shows locations and it shows star rating. If that's how it is in game, then yeah, this is a more like Jurassic World Evolution 1 style of campaign. And we have a return of the division system as well, as we're told we will need to juggle our reputation with 3 influential industry sectors and with unique demands of an array of site-owning clients, but be warned, not everyone wants to see the dinosaurs thrive. So there's obviously going to be a sort of element of working with divisions which are going to have their own different perspectives on the dinosaurs. What I would like to see is more of our choice into which side of this we work with. I don't necessarily want to have a Jurassic World Evolution 1 system where we have to work with all of them because that's the only way to get all the content. I want the system to allow us to be a bit more choosy with who we work with. And then we're told that we're going to have new security systems, including security cameras to help automate the responses to escape dinosaurs and maintenance teams to keep threats contained by delivering critical repairs across the site. So it looks like we are going to have new systems in terms of the management as well, a security aspect and a maintenance aspect, which again sounds good. More management features are definitely warranted. As I keep having to remind people, Jurassic World Evolution is a park management game. It's not a dinosaur simulator. Like, we need the management features, and Jurassic World Evolution 2 definitely needed more management features. Now, some people have been making a big deal of the line at the bottom of the Steam page that says that they used generative AI to create the scientist avatars for the scientist system. I couldn't care less about that. Frankly, I mean, I thought they already had used AI for the scientists' pictures for Jurassic World Evolution 2. So I think this is just letting us know that they definitely have used it. And I really don't have an opinion about it, to be honest. Is it a bit scummy? Maybe. But if this is the only place where they've used it, then I think it's fine. Now, one thing I would like to highlight is the system spec requirements, because these are fairly high. These are, you know, the next sort of, compared to Jurassic World Evolution 2, it's sort of the next jump up. In terms of recommended, you're looking at an AMD Ryzen 7 and a decent 8 or 12 gigabyte graphics card. It's also a much bigger game, 25 gigabytes compared to Jurassic World Evolution 2. So it's obviously going to be resource intensive. That might, again, put off some players, especially if they don't have up to tops, you know, because this is a Ryzen 7 is a mid-range. I mean, I might have to upgrade my computer to run it myself. So this might be the other thing that causes some problems if people are not able to have a system to run it. I just thought it was important to note those system spec requirements and point out that, yeah, if you have a slightly lower end rig, you're probably going to need to upgrade it to run this. Now, we also got information about the pre-order and deluxe edition stuff here. The deluxe edition, we get 4 dinosaurs and some other stuff. We get the dinosaur Guanlong, or what they call a dinosaur family unit. So all of these animals can breed, is what they're saying. So we get the Guanlong, Protoceratops, which I've been asking for bloody ages. And then we get Thanatos Draken and Concavenator. Now, I thought this was going to happen. Back when we were thinking about what Jurassic World Evolution 3 might do with its pre-orders, and I believe I said something along the lines of, well, they put the Huangosaurus in the deluxe edition for Jurassic World Evolution 2, and that was a base game animal, so I suspect that the next game they might double down on that, and they literally have, by having 2 species, technically from Jurassic World Evolution 2, being put behind the paywall for their return in this game. The thing is, and this might surprise some people, I'm not as angry about them doing this as I was about the Huangosaurus. For me, the Huangosaurus was a base game dinosaur in Jurassic World Evolution 1. You know, it was there as standard. So them putting it in the deluxe edition for Jurassic World Evolution 2 was, in my opinion, more scummy, because you They took an animal that was always there and made you pay more for it. For this, and for these two, the Thanatos Draken and the Concavenator, these are two dinosaurs that were in DLCs, which meant that in theory, they were optional extra animals for Jurassic World Evolution 2. So they've just made them the same thing for Jurassic World Evolution 3. Is it scummy practice? Slightly. I do understand why people are angry at this, but we already know that if there's 80 species in game, well, there's 122 right now. Some have probably been cut. But this does set, I think, an unfortunate precedent with Jurassic World Evolution 3 that we might see DLC dinosaurs being sold to us again in relatively similar DLCs, which is a concern. So I do think it's something to be critical of. I do agree with the people who are being critical of it. I think it is a concern, but I'm not as angry as I was about the Huangosaurus. We get 3 ATV skins for our maintenance ATVs, and then we get 53 scenery items, which they're calling Clark County scenery items, and they only show a T-Rex statue and this really nice complex fountain arrangement. I think it's really interesting that they're offering scenery in the DLC content. It reminds me a lot more of what they do with Planet Zoo and Prehistoric and Planet Coaster. I would like to see this continue with other DLCs, combining the dinosaur element with scenery elements. Because if this is very modular, we need the stuff to build with. And then we're given that information on the pre-order, which they're calling the Badlands set. So it's an ATV skin, scenery items times 31, and scenery blueprints times 5. And this is all based on, I believe, Alan Grant's dig site that we see in the first film. I would say that in this images that they give us, one of this is clearly a tent that we currently have in Jurassic World Evolution 2. So I can imagine that we may be seeing some decorative scenery being sold back to us as well, which is, again, not great, but it is what it is. And then they give the price tags. So base game is £50, at least for me, being in the UK, which is the same amount of money that Jurassic World Evolution 2 was. The Deluxe Edition, though, is £65. So the cost of the Deluxe Edition has gone up by £5. Which is not a huge rise, but I think it is worth pointing out that it is more expensive. And I suspect that we might see this across the board with Jurassic World Evolution 3. I think we might see that the DLCs are going to be a little more expensive. But if they contain scenery items as well as dinosaur species or other animal species, I think that's fine, depending on how much they are, of course. So all relatively positive stuff in Steam, as well as some nice high-res screenshots. Basically the same screenshots we already had from the German article, but just in better resolution. I have to say, the Malta stuff looks fantastic. Of like the building sets we've seen, I think I'm most looking forward to the Malta style, because I just love that sort of ancient sort of style that it's got going. The Japan one is nice though as well. Right, let's pop onto their website and have a look at the information there. So, welcome to the Jurassic World Evolution 3 website. I'm going to be looking at this live, just because it's the easiest way for me to go through the sorts of stuff that we've got here. I would say the website is not particularly well designed. we have to do a lot of exploration to go through. So let's start with the features, and we've got 5 different areas to look through. I have to say this is quite a good picture, although it can't. The mosasaur does look a bit weird from that perspective. So build your own Jurassic World. So something that I noticed from this is this: meet fresh and familiar faces in a new narrative campaign. So they go into more detail about this, but basically it looks like they're either making up an entirely new narrative campaign or it's based on some elements of Rebirth. I don't know. They discuss a new organization that they've invented, or it seems they've invented for this game. which is not an organization that I could see showing up in Rebirth, let's just put it like that. So I think that the narrative they've generated for this might actually be an entirely new, unique narrative experience, which is certainly not what we got with Jurassic World Evolution 2, is it? We're told we're going to be crafting our own Jurassic World experience using powerful and creative construction tools to design your vision from the ground up, manipulate terrain, build expansive enclosures, and construct exciting attractions to keep your guests entertained. Now, something I did want to do is open this in a new tab, because look at this. Now, I don't know where this is in the world, but I suspect this could be somewhere in America, and I suspect that in the background might be Las Vegas, potentially, or San Diego. But judging on the surrounding sort of desert terrain and the sort of style of this park area that we've got here, I'm wondering if it could be Las Vegas, because this tower on the left, I'm sure there's like a hotel in Las Vegas that has a similar sort of style to it. I mean, I just also would like to point out, look at these wonderful style archways, arches and plaza coverings, these wonderful statues. I mean, these all look like Pteranodon, Megalodon, this wonderful fountain base. It looks like we've got some low fence arrangement thing around here. I mean, this amazing set of archways and stuff in the background. It looks like there's a Rex inside there. I mean, this is glorious. And look, we've actually got people sitting on the benches here. So that's good. That actually confirms that maybe guests will actually interact with the benches and stuff we put down in the parks. So this is good news. Yeah, this is a really beautiful sort of style. I love this sort of style. But again, this is why I'm not 100% convinced it's 100% modular, because this is identical over here, and it just doesn't, this doesn't feel like a modular structure. Not with these lights that are so perfectly placed looking up, which are identical over here, and the identical sort of pillars, and how well everything has been fitted together. I don't think it's modular. I think this is a singular unit. Because if you look at the one in the background, you've got the same pterosaur statues around it. So I reckon that is a singular piece. And then we have some wonderful sort of fountain arrangements as well. I suppose we need to wait and see about this modular system. Right, moving on. So we bring prehistory into the modern era with bioengineered and naturally bred dinosaurs that think, feel, and react to the environment you create for them. Welcome 82 awe-inspiring prehistoric species with new species, community favorites, and icons from the Jurassic World franchise, including Velociraptors, T-Rex, and Indominus Rex. So that confirms Indorex is going to be there from the start, and it confirms we're going to begin the game with 82 species, which is about, I think Jurassic World Evolution 2 base game, it was like 67 or something like that. So we're going to start the game with a few more species than what we started Jurassic World Evolution 2 with. But obviously, you know, 82 is not 122. So that means 40 animals have been cut from the Jurassic World Evolution 2 game. If all of the animals that have been cut are DLC animals, again, I'm not 100% annoyed, and I'm not 100% happy with that. I'm kind of ambivalent. If they've cut some animals from the base game, which especially the ones I really like Amargasaurus, Huangosaurus, Acrocanthosaurus, Utahraptor, that sort of thing, I'm probably going to be annoyed if they've cut some of my favorites. But like I say, we'll have to see when we get a better species list what's cut and what's not. And then they've just used the same picture from the trailer. So we're told we're going to be managing for when things go wrong with the expanded arsenal, including new security cameras and maintenance ATV teams to grapple with threats posed by fierce weather, dinosaur escapes, and potential sabotage. Highlighting this focus on security, which I think is good, and they do go into more detail in another part of the website. And again, this image is new. Let's have a look at it in slightly bigger. So this is obviously their maintenance ATV and their maintenance guy. And it sounds like what they're going to do is automatically be dispatched to deal with stuff like this broken fencing that this Triceratops has evidently smashed through. I hope that the system works well. Let's just put it like that. Let's go back and let's look at the next part of this website, which is the generations of dinosaurs. Looks like we're going to have a slight change to the raptor design with this the coloration on the nose. So guide, breed, and nurture families of dinosaurs across entire generations. From fearsome adult predators to playful juvenile herbivores, authentic dinosaurs and prehistoric animals are at the heart of Jurassic World Evolution 3. Dimorphism introduces distinct males and females that raise and interact with their young, while new systems mean a whole new world for your parks as you work to build a safe and secure haven. Juvenile dinosaurs. Raising young ones is no small feat and no different for dinosaurs. Juvenile dinosaurs bring new challenge to animal management, coming with their own needs and behaviors, which I find interesting. So rather than the juveniles just being basically smaller versions of adults, it sounds like they're going to have their own distinct set of requirements separate from the adults, which is going to add another layer of complexity to the dinosaur management. And we do have here, provide them with the correct support and you'll successfully rear your juveniles into majestic adults. So again, this does kind of suggest that the adults, that the babies are going to grow into adults. We don't know how that growth is going to occur in game yet. We don't know whether it's going to be like they're going to literally grow or whether we'll just look away from them and they'll, appear as adults. But at least it does mean that they'll grow up. I do hope, however, that there is a sandbox setting which allows us to freeze the baby growth, so that we can have just adults and babies and not have to worry about them growing up. That would be useful to have in sandbox. Genetic inheritance. So bioengineering returns in Jurassic World Evolution 3. Select traits for your synthesized dinosaurs to make them hardier or increase their fertility, and then pass them down to their offspring as juvenile dinosaurs inherit their parents' appearance and traits. So the skins you apply to your parents will affect their babies, and the genetic traits you give the parents will affect the babies. So there is also going to be a lot more management of genetics, because I don't usually really bother with the genetic modification system in Jurassic World Evolution 2. I've just never felt it the need to. But the idea that this is now going to influence the offspring that the dinosaurs are going to have, it means we're going to be able to not selectively breed, but breed good genes into baby dinosaurs to end up with better dinosaurs than what the parents were, which again is adding much needed complexity into the genetic modification system. And then we got advanced behaviors featuring over 70 prehistoric family units. So that was what they mentioned in the Steam post. Jurassic World Evolution 3 breathes even more life into these majestic animals. Dinosaurs raise and protect their young, compete for territory, and react to the environment you build for them, with sauropods wading across deep water and pterosaurs walking across the ground. Now this sounds positive about competing for territory and reacting to the environment, raising and protecting their young. But they said similar things about Jurassic World Evolution 2, how they were going to compete for territory and the territory system would be really unique, and it really wasn't. When it comes to the quality of animal behavior and animation, I want to see proper gameplay footage before I am convinced by what they're saying here, because we all know what we ended up with last time. Dinosaurs repeating the same social animation over and over again because they only had the one. I want to see some very diverse animations, and if it's true they react to the environment, I want to see them actually reacting to the environment. We do have this wonderful picture with them, with this one. These are obviously the Protoceratops. I think this looks glorious with the tufts, the quills coming out of the tail, and I'm going to assume that the bigger one is the male, this is the female, and this is obviously the youngster. I think it looks great. Nice little Japanese building in the background. So creativity evolved, and we've got a lovely picture of that hotel building. Revolutionary new creative tools deepen your control of each park's appearance, giving you the choice between tweaking every small detail or playing with intuitive and expansive out-of-the-box designs. Push the boundaries with modular building, powerful terraforming tools, and expanded customization options. So this makes it sound like we are going to have 100% modular building. With an expansive suite of tools and scenery to choose from, you have the power to construct a building from scratch or simply add some personal flair to an existing facility. So yeah, this makes it sound like we're going to have modular and non-modular, so a sort of a hybrid system. And it says we can dip into these creative options as much or as little as you like, with an expansive selection of pre-built designs and blueprints also available to choose from. Again, I'm a little concerned about that, because one of the biggest advantages they had over Prehistoric Kingdom and Planet Zoo was that people could easily build a park. They say they're going to include plenty of pre-builds. Prehistoric Kingdom and Planet Zoo contains pre-builds. I want to see just how modular it is. Like, is it Planet Coaster level of modular, where like here's a single wall, or is it something more like the amenity customization system? It's not very clear here, so we'll have to wait for live gameplay footage. I think the picture is the scenery items from the pre-order Badlands stuff, because this looks like the little computer we see in Jurassic Park 1 where they fire the radar into the ground. Then we get told about their tectonic terraforming. The power to fully sculpt your parks is now in your hands with intuitive terrain modification, empowering you to easily craft striking landscapes. You can even remove the need for fences and construct more naturalistic enclosures for your dinosaurs using steep slopes, scenery, and pits to keep your dinosaurs away from guests. It looks like the dinosaurs are going to be a little more picky over the terrain they choose to walk up and down on, which is good. So we can actually have like steep-sided cliffs that stop dinosaurs going there, which is kind of, they have like a passable terrain thing in Planet Zoo. I hope that they've done a lot of work into making sure that it works very well. I don't want dinosaurs to sort of escape by climbing over plateaus that they found a small way of getting up it. But the increased terraforming tools is definitely going to be a good thing. I do hope when it comes to the terraforming, we're going to be able to do things like caves and archways, creating rock archways and that sort of thing. But basically, this is Kyodenic's terrain modification tools mod being improved upon and put into the next game. And then we're told about social creativity. Browse the Frontier Workshop. So this is basically the same thing as we had on the Steam, about the workshop where we can share our designs, which I think for a lot of people is going to be how they build their parks. I think a lot of us are just going to download workshop stuff and use them in our builds and not mess around with the modular system if it's a massively 100% modular system. Right, let's have a look at what they say about the campaign. So we're told we're going to be traveling around the globe, navigating the conflicting human interests and rival factions at the heart of dinosaur conservation. So this is what I mentioned about this new bit. So as a park manager for the newly established Dinosaur Integration Network, you must navigate the turbulent world of dinosaur conservation and deliver results for DIN's prospective clients as they attempt to build dinosaur sanctuaries, commercial parks, and secure facilities to protect the public. Now, this Dinosaur Integration Network doesn't sound like something that Rebirth would have in it. It sounds something more like an evolution on the DFW. So this gives me hope that this is a more unique narrative. Here we have another shot of that baby Allosaurus again. With dinosaurs now spread to every corner of the globe, the future of these prehistoric species is on the line. Unfortunately, not everyone agrees on how to treat these magnificent animals as commodities, animals in need of protection, or simply a threat to be removed. So I assume this is the three divisions that we're going to be working with: the ones that want to commercialize it, the ones that want to protect them, or the ones that want to secure them away from the public. And again, saying here with dinosaurs now spread to every corner of the globe, Rebirth has the dinosaurs being restricted to just the equatorial regions. So again, I don't think this is following on that much from Rebirth. Complete objectives and make key narrative decisions to earn or lose reputation with these factions. But remember, you can't always keep everyone happy. Do enough to impress a faction and you'll be rewarded with new technology and campaign scenarios to experience. So, this makes it sound like we have more of a choice over the direction we take things, which is what I wanted from Jurassic World Evolution 1's division system. The idea that we're going to have new campaign scenarios to experience depending on it sounds like depending on who we'll work with the most, we'll have new campaign scenarios. I hope we have more of a choice in the narrative. I don't want to have to work with all 3 divisions regardless on every map. Journey through a multi-act story, jumping in and out of different global locations and parks as you create an international network of facilities for dinosaurs, work to research new technologies in a tech tree shared across your parks, and carefully manage your organization in the face of sabotage. So again, very much like Jurassic World Evolution 1, we're going to be sharing the facilities across all parks, but it sounds like we're going to be in charge of the organization, which again means that we have control over what our organization does, I assume. Again, we'll have to wait and see and get more information about that. But this all sounds relatively positive as well for a campaign, a lot better than Jurassic World Evolution 2's campaign was. And then we've got one last thing which they've called Control the Chaos. Great Rex design here. So powerful and intuitive park management tools bring a new level of control to your park's operation. Set up your site as efficiently as possible, but prepare for disaster using new security cameras and maintenance teams. So this is the maintenance team in this picture here. So dive into data from around your park to identify areas for improvement and use heat maps to quickly find problems. Arm yourself to increase your overall park rating from multiple metrics from guest comfort to income and meet the specific requirements of your clients. Doesn't sound that much different from what we've got already, to be honest. Exciting new attractions. So whether it's soaring through an aerial view of the park in a balloon tour, getting up close and personal with a dinosaur encounter, and this one is the one that made me go interesting, leaving dry land to gain a new perspective. Now, some people have suggested this is referring to, the balloon tour, but I don't see in them mentioning the balloon tour in 2 different ways in the same paragraph. The fact it specifically says leaving dry land suggests to me this is some sort of water-based attraction, maybe a boat ride or something. We'll have to wait and see, but this line gives me hope that we've got some sort of lagoon attraction or water-based attraction. We have the placeable deep water now, so fingers crossed. Prepare for the inevitable. Expanded detection and response systems including watchtowers, security cameras, and the introduction of ATV riding maintenance and repair team. So watchtowers and security cameras, that was basically the Sierra Nevada Chaos Theory from Jurassic World Evolution 2. Those were 2 particular structures used in there. So it's likely we're going to have similar structures come back to Jurassic World Evolution 3 for the same purposes, of keeping an eye on the park. Ensure your dinosaurs are secure and happy, or you might find yourself running for the bunker when they escape. So again, it looks like management is going to be a slightly bigger focus for this game, but I would like to know more. So that was all of the features. Let's have a look at the game modes. And something that Lima pointed out to me yesterday was there's only 3. Campaign, Sandbox, Challenge Mode. There's no Chaos Theory. And I think that's a good thing. Chaos Theory was kind of a pointless game mode in my opinion in Jurassic World Evolution 2, and I don't think it succeeded. So I think removing it is fine. So in the campaign we're told, set off on a continent hopping adventure to construct and manage secure havens for dinosaurs around the world, working with the Dinosaur Integration Network, blah 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 blah. Your choices will shape your campaign as you favour the security, entertainment and conservation sectors, as they'll reward you with new technology, but beware, not everyone will see eye to eye with your mission. So your choices will shape your campaign. Again, that sounds like we're going to be able to influence how the campaign works, which sounds positive to me, at least. Also, I love this Japan park here. Those lovely gates and such, and Zen gardens, and lovely fountain. Honestly, when I first saw this Japan park, I thought this was Evo's Japan build. It's why I was a bit cautious about that trailer being fake, but I do wonder if someone at Frontier noticed her build and was like, Sandbox, so again, we're going to have Sandbox come back with everything that we want. Choose how to let your creativity roll, whether you create without limits or set your own difficulty to overcome. Expansive customization settings and options give you the freedom to experiment. Choose from a selection of locations featured across the campaign and previous Jurassic World Evolution titles. Now again, this sounds fun. I wonder if we're going to have some of Jurassic World Evolution 1 and Jurassic World Evolution 2 maps return in the next game. If so, be curious to know which maps people would like to see return. I've already got a bit of a list forming in my head, which I'll have to do a video on. But if we are going to get some of the base maps back from the previous 2 titles, that will be amazing. And challenge mode is coming back. This doesn't sound particularly that much different from what we already know. You know, compete to set the best completion times, blah blah blah. The only big difference is the bit at the bottom where it says will be rewarded with unique dinosaur skins and scenery for use in any game mode. So challenge mode is going to reward you with a bit more than just a dinosaur skin, which is something again I suggested they do with challenge mode, because a dinosaur skin is not a big enough push to actually go and do them. I do hope that the challenge mode is less of a pain in the ass. If challenge mode is sort of Jurassic World Evolution 2 level of challenge, I think that's fine. I really hope it's not as tough as Jurassic World Evolution 1. But yeah, that's like everything we've had on the website. And obviously if you sign up for their newsletter, you get another ATV skin. So what's my overall thoughts? I'm still cautiously optimistic, like I was last night after we saw the trailer and everything. I'm still cautiously optimistic. There are some things that concern me. The way that they're locking 2 species in Deluxe Edition may set an unfortunate precedent for the future DLCs. The idea that it's going to be 100% modular, or the modular building system is going to be as complicated as Prehistoric Kingdom or Planet Zoos. And obviously, you know, being told about new management features is one thing, seeing these new management features actually working is quite another. But like I say, I am still optimistic. Perhaps a little more optimistic than I was about Jurassic World Evolution 2 when we started getting information. But we do need to see a lot more. I'm not pre-ordering yet, because personally I want to see a lot more of the gameplay, because there are still some things that I think should be here. Bridges and tunnels are a big thing. If the path system is still locked to the ground, that might be a hard sell for me. Bridges are such a basic part of park design, and I don't see why we can't have them. Especially if you've got modular building. If it's 100% modular, surely we can build bridges ourselves. So we'll have to wait and see what new gameplay information we get. But like I say, I am cautiously optimistic. Which is a surprise, because normally I'm quite cynical. But that was everything new from the Steam page and the website. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about all the information we've had so far. Let me know whether you're very optimistic, whether you're not optimistic. Are you critical of anything so far? What sort of features are you most looking forward to? And if you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing to get notified of any future video I do about Jurassic World Evolution 3 content, because I'm sure there's going to be plenty of them. But yeah, until next time, stay safe and goodbye.